week 12 on my road to Worlds. This week I didn't get many footage. Training was a bit on and off, but I did end up doing a good comp sim on boulders at my gym that was set for the youth world team, or youth national team, should I say. So yeah, these boulders were really hard and I got shut down a lot. What I learned from this week was that if I'm planning on having a strict training regime, or if I'm planning on performing well in a comp simulation like this one, I need to get my sleep sorted out. The night before I was up till 2 a.m, ended up waking up at 10, and the whole day my body just felt sluggish. So I need to focus more on making sure that I get good sleep, and with my body type, going to sleep earlier, waking up earlier, which is not always nice, but it means I can train harder. Anyway, let's have a look at me getting shut down on these 5 boulders. So the first boulder, a bit of a slabby boulder. Yeah, look, the start took me forever to just establish, which is very, very demoralizing when you're starting a comp sim and you just can't even get off the ground. Out of the way. After a while, I did end up sticking the start, but it was starting to get pretty close to looking like I wasn't going to be able to start the boulder. I tried something different, going left foot first, and then my left foot just came off straight away. I started getting a bit closer there. Like every go here was just a little bit closer. I ended up sticking it, which was quite good. And I very quickly learned that what I was doing was not correct. That foot that I'm on there is very, very terrible. So I should have done a bit better. I was able to establish again straight away, which is very good. I was able to move off a bit. I just got a bit stuck here and didn't really leave myself any room to come in. Second boulder again, just couldn't get off the ground for a while and just kept sliding off and spinning away. I tried to attack it from a different angle, which just didn't end up working, and I decided to go back to the original. I nearly stuck at that time and my foot just popped off. After a couple goes, I decided to change it up, going right foot first, which just let me establish a bit better. And just pressing on that, I was able to actually just balance myself onto these feet. This next bit here, that crossover there wasn't too bad. This bit here, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then when I thought I'd shift my weight onto the right foot, I just slid off straight away. Again, once I figured out how to start, it wasn't too bad. It's just actually getting off the ground, which I found a little bit tricky that day. While I was resting in between the last go and this go, did a bit of composing, try to reread the boulder a bit better, and that's why I kind of just shifted my weight over. I'm kind of crimping the edge of that volume, which allows me to get over to the crimp. And then as soon as I got here, I realized that this wasn't a very favorable position. I spent a bit of time trying to figure out what I want to do. So I tried to match there so I could kind of generate a bit more, because I felt like I couldn't generate from the right, and then both my feet just pinged off, and that was my last go on that one. This boulder here suited my style a bit better than the others, so I was fairly happy with how I climbed it. Thought I'd get the right foot up there, but it just didn't feel right. So, I ended up finding a different way around it. I can't really say much negative about how I climbed this boulder. I climbed it fairly well. And And when I hit that last hold, I think the heel, I don't know if the heel was the right option. It kind of put me in a weird spot, and then the foot just popped. That last hold was kind of terrible. Yeah, it's a bit rough. I ended up getting up there 3 times, and spoiler alert, I wasn't able to match the top hold any of the times. I climbed it fairly well each time, didn't make any mistakes. It just that top hold just felt absolutely terrible. I left myself enough time to have one more go. So after my first attempt, I left myself enough time to just do the boulder. And if I fell near the top, I would have enough time for another go. So the timing on this boulder was pretty much perfect. I knew the moves, so I knew exactly what I needed to do. I could power through it pretty quickly. But I got a bit too tired and just wasn't able to hold on, which annoyed me a bit that I dropped the last hold 3 times in a row. This boulder here, I kind of stuffed up the first move, going off the sloper hand instead of the jug other handhold. And on my second go, I just decided to keep my hand on the jug. I was able to do the movement, but just missed the foot position. So right there, I knew that what I was doing was correct. I just needed to execute it a bit better. Going into it again, right about there, I realized that I'm not actually pressing up off the right foot. So I start trying to put a bit more effort into kind of pressing up with the right foot, giving my left foot time to land and both feet to land almost. That last go, I just slipped off. That foot on the right is kind of terrible. And honestly, after that first slip, I kind of lost faith in my feet for this boulder. I just didn't trust my feet at all. I thought I could reach it, but yeah, the set was really good that I couldn't just reach through it. You can see I'm really tight in my ankles there because I'm just not trusting the foot. I just don't wanna commit to it. Yeah, you can see there. I'm not weighting it properly and just sliding off again. I was able to execute this first move consistently, which again, it's not the hardest of moves. But I got to look for the positives to take away from this, which there isn't a lot, so I try and look for whatever there is. I think if I'd done that move, but just not gone for the hand down and just stuck with the hand up, I would have been able to do it a bit better. And then just rushing in that last go while I had time, just slipped off the foot. This boulder had a really cool sequence at the start. I just stuffed up that first move. But was able to learn it pretty quickly and able to get it on the next go, even though I nearly missed the foot, actually, now that I'm looking back at it. And the landing position there with my left foot was very, very terrible, and that left hand is even worse. It is pretty much a nothing hold. So I really had to focus on where my landing was. And this is one of the boulders that I'll have to go back to and test where on the volume I want to land, just to make sure that I get it correctly. But about here is when I start losing my composure. I start missing the foot. I was checked out. I think the lack of sleep, how I was performing this day, just kind of got to me. I just kept missing the foot. Looking at it now, I pretty much overshot every single foot, even the ones that I did land. So I'm generating too much by the looks of it. And again, I'm just running out of time, but I just really feel like I should just keep going. It's the last boulder, so I just kept grinding and grinding. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the move again, which by all means is not actually a hard move, but I was just thoroughly demoralized and not having a good time, I guess. So moving forward, I guess if I'm gonna have a hard training day that day, especially if it's in the morning, not to sleep in all too much. I guess if it's after work, I can have the whole day to kind of wake up and get myself out of that sluggy nature. But if I'm going to have a training day, make sure that my sleep schedule aligns with how I need to train. Is probably the biggest takeaway from this week. Everything else is kind of alright. My body's feeling good for the comp coming up next week. I'm just going to have to stay vigilant and disciplined on what I need to do. And just, everything will come together on comp day. Stick around for the journey.